Hello, this is Richard again. To this new video, AI never ceases to amaze me. Every day there's a new AI, new discovery, new things you can do with AI. And this one is a game changer. Yesterday, I talked about Google Gemini, and I thought at the time that Google Gemini is the best model ever. But now, this one, after trying it out, I think it's the best. Tell you why. As a developer, as a software developer, this is the best model for me now. I've been the fan of Anthropic and its models and how it is able to craft good AI compared to other models. But now with Opus, is it called Opus, Claude Opus 4.5, the game is over. Or at least not yet. Maybe tomorrow we'll have a new model. Who knows? So with these new models, Opus 4.5, it is now available. I think it's only available for Pro only. I don't know if you can access it as free. You need to be paying. So they are claiming that this model should be efficient and the best model in the world for coding and agents and computer use and compute use. So meaning it is using less energies compared to the other models they had. So it is claiming to be meaningful in everyday tasks, but I have tested it on software engineering most. So I think when it comes to writing and normal writing, it's not the best. ChatGPT is still good at writing in general, but for writing codes, Opus is beating other models in my opinion, according to the test I have done so far. So Opus 4.5 is step forward in AI. That's what they are claiming to, and I have tested it so far. So when you compare to the other models, you can see that 80% 0.9% is better compared to Sonnet point 5, Opus 4.1, and Gemini Pro, and the GPTs, the rest. So this comes with accuracy. So when you can give it a prompt and expect the results, the accuracy is 80% um, of what you would expect. Opus 4.5 is available today on the apps, and you can access it with this called Cloud Opus 4.5, and it's called via the Cloud API if you're using Cloud API. I think in the future videos I will show you how you can use these models inside your VS Code editor, even though it is not yet available to the general VS Code editor. So when they were testing, people in anthropic companies have tested the models with different release, so they had remarkable consistent feedback. So they noticed that Cloud for Opus point 5 handle ambiguity, and this is the challenges that most AI used to have, and that's where the hallucination comes in, because when you give it a task that is not very clear enough with a lot of ambiguity, it's very hard for it to understand and be able to nail it down to what you intend to ask versus to what you want. So and they had to make a trade-off, as they're saying here, without hand holding. They told us that, I mean, the people who were testing it, they said that a complex multi-system bug, this model was able to figure out and fix the bug. So this is the case of like when you open an issue of the bug, but it contain a lot of ambiguity and there's no clear steps of reproducing the same bug over and over. So Opus 4.5 was able to get it right, almost 80 or above 80%. So when you compare it to other uh, solutions like Windsurf or GitHub Copilot is just of course better compared to those, because when you give it an undescriptive task, it's not able to be able to decipher the things you said and be able to get to the accuracy. And that comes from the competition also saying something about this model. If the competition are saying good things about the model, I think you better believe that the model might be good. So when they were evaluating the Cloud Opus 4.5, so they gave a prospective performance engineering candidate a notoriously difficult take-home exam. They also tested new models on this exam as an internal benchmark within their prescribed 2-hour time limit. Claude Opus 4.5 scored higher than a human candidate ever. So what they did actually, they gave a take-home exam, which is timed to be done in 2 hours, and Opus 4.5 were able to score higher than any human that can be able to score on that specific task. So the take-home test is designed to assess technical ability and judgment under time pressure, which is really important because the model used to spend a lot of time figuring out things and be able to come back and maybe hallucinate a little bit and give you race accuracy. But with this model, is able to work within the time frame is given and still be able to compete a human in the same category, which is really important because if a human is expected to complete a task, a novel task in 2 hours, and the same model is able to do it in 2 hours, but even more better than a human could ever do it, that means the benchmark is above the human. So this doesn't test for the crucial skills that the candidate may possess, like maybe communication skills or social skills or something like that. So that is not part of what they tested. But this result shows that AI model outperforms strong candidate on important technical skills, and this is really important. AI was not tested on other interpersonal skills that a human can possess, but on technical aspect, it was able to uh, compete with that human in that technical aspect. I guess it's because it's very hard to assess and test the human interpersonal skills because there is different trait and different things that you can test or you cannot be able to know how to test them, because how would you measure the skills that someone has to co-work and to co-live with the colleagues, for example? How would you test someone's ability to to be a good team player, right? That's really difficult. So that is not what they tested, I believe, because they don't have the clear way of testing these metrics. But the best and definitely way of testing the AI is through the technical challenges, because you have the clear inputs, and the clear outputs. So that is what they're saying here. So software engineering isn't only area which Cloud Opus 4.5 has improved. So it has also improved the capability in a higher close the border. So it has different things like image generation, the mathematical skills, and other things like art, image generation, and so on. So when you see here, so in this column, so you will see that the agent coding, which is they are claiming that is the best of the best models out there, is performing 80.9% compared to the other models in the same categories, including Gemini and GPT 5.1. So, and when it comes to parallel agent agent coding. So it's able to do multiple tasks within the terminal 59.3%, which is already higher with the same models and they have in the same categories, including the Gemini Pro and the GPT-5. So in most scenarios, they show that they don't have enough data about the GPT 5.1 when it comes to comparing it with different categories like agent to use and scale to use, the other metrics they are comparing. But when you look at this graph, you will see that uh, in most cases, it was able to perform better in some programming languages than other programming languages. So the most you know programming languages it understand better. You will see on this graph we have C and Java. So, and I think that is a good reason why we have the models performing better on these programming languages, mostly because these are the popular and the most used in enterprise level applications. So, I'm telling you why. Because these enterprise programming languages are used in banks and Google's, all these 500 companies when they're training these models, they already use those extensive data they have to train the model on the programming languages they are already using. So if you are not using PHP, you are not going to train the model on the PHP because it doesn't serve you the purpose of what you are trying to fix as the company. Remember, this company want to at some point automate some tasks like software refactoring, like all these things that can be automated by AI. So and the only way they can do that is to train the model based on what they already have. And I think that's the theory behind why the models are now performing better on these like two programming languages, being the Java, C, C++, and JavaScript. So that really explain why and the shift how it's going to keep happening and improving. So they are saying that the model capability outcome outpace some of the benchmark so they used in that test. So one of the common benchmark for the agentic capabilities is R2 benchmark, which measure the performance of agent in the real world multi-learn tasks. So these are type of tasks you need to do and come back and evaluate the results and re-improve the output based on the previous output. So I think it was able to do that. So and they're saying that this model is supposed to be more safer and more uh, more safe to use. So, and they're saying that the model is more aligned with a release date, and they suspect that uh, it's the best aligned frontier model by the developer, by any developer actually. So, what they're saying here is that this model is up to date and is mostly aligned with any developer out there. Meaning that if you are a developer using it, you are going to see it more updated with the current stack you are using and more updated with the change happened in the framework you're using, in the programming language you are using. So which was the issue in most coding agent or models that have tried. You see that the framework you're using has already updated, but the coding models you are using hasn't updated to the current framework tech stack you are using, which will you find yourself using the old programming language syntax and concepts, which is really good for this Opus 4.5. I think other things are technical things that are keeping saying here on this on their blog. I think I will link the link in the description so you can go ahead and read it for yourself. And I think for making this video short, we can end it here. See you next time.